Hey guys, if anybody's here, hope everybody's doing well. It's been a while. How's it going, guys? Sorry, I didn't realize anybody was here yet. Alright, what y'all want to see? Or what y'all want to hear? Alright. Hey, Meow. Boy. Y'all can see my hat? Or no, never mind. I'm behind my pop filter. Let's see. I have no idea. Alright, I'm gonna hang on. Maybe a couple more people might show up before I get halfway into a story and then everybody come in the middle of it. Alright, we'll give them just a couple more seconds. Did what? Did I send something to Pornhub? If so, my bad. I seen Pornhub pop up. Oh, never mind. Duh. I forgot. Y'all can see my screen. Yeah, I was wondering about the Pornhub thing too. At least I didn't send it to it. Yeah, that sounds like a meat locker chat. I was wondering how I got a Pornhub on my tweets. I knew I didn't use Twitter to get there at least. Let's see what I can find here. Oh, it looks like kind of a long one. Maybe not so much. Good gosh. Yeah, it's pretty long. It's broke down into sections, so yeah. Crap, wrong button. Dang it. I guess I can get my freaking hand out in front of the camera. Porn to get you every time. Sadly. Alright. We'll give them just another couple seconds. We'll go ahead and start without them. Alright. Crap. Not like everybody hadn't already seen my face. At least it's dark in here. Yeah, I thought I had my face on sideways. Alright. Maybe I'll get this shit fixed or something. Let's get rid of that, because I think the mask will work for a pop filter. There we go. Alright. I gotta do away with the chat so I can read. My name is Garbage. Forever will my name be carved into my head. I haunt a world of filth, piss, and blood beneath the rotting sky. Every morning I rise from the putrid depths of the bay, my spectral carcass filled with foul seawater and lurching into the shadows. Slowly make my way through the trash-strewn streets of the city, invisible to most, and an unclean phantom to others, finding my way to that urine-sinking back alley to wait. She made me this way, made my soul ethereal and ghastly, cursed to live this day out over and over for eternity. My existence, a loop of time, forever turning. It was she who carved this name across my brow with a sewing needle and black ink. She who shattered my heart and drove me to madness, suicide, and despair. She who I seek now, so that I may wrap my fingers around that lovely throat and watch her gorgeous face go blue. It was 1984 when I met her. She was a 17-year-old runaway and the most beautiful punk rock girl I had ever seen. 1984. Everyone was talking about that book by George Orwell. People were saying President Reagan was the devil, that because his first, middle, and last names each contained 6 letters, he was marked 666, the number of the beast, and would bring the end of times. The Cold War was at a fever pitch, and we all expected nuclear Armageddon to come at any moment. They were teaching school children to duck under their desks if the Russians dropped a plutonium bomb on us, like hiding under a desk was going to help. It was a nihilistic time, but it was fun and exhilarating nonetheless. We had that dead Kennedy's tape, fresh fruit for rotting vegetables, and we would play it over and over on the beat-up old boombox in our run-down squat, someone having to steal new batteries for it every week. That battered tape, Jello Biafra's snide voice, sneering, oh Jesus, crap, sneering as the music built up pace and crescendo. Lock your doors, close your mind, it's time for the 2-minute warning. And then bursting with rage. Welcome to 1984. Are you ready for the Third World War? Good gosh. Are you ready for the Third World War? Everyone would be screaming and hopping around, slamming into each other, ecstatic at the prospect of our own possible annihilation. You too will meet the secret police. They'll draft you and jail your niece. My dad's out here making a racket. One night after a Black Flag show, she appeared at our squad over on 4th and D. It was a dingy old abandoned hovel, a rotting Victorian. Some of the older punk anarchists head squats that they organized into communes with committees and boards, always voting on this and that and having meetings. But we were young and wild, teenagers, the ruckus crew we called ourselves, and our squat was just a place to get drunk and crash, a party squat. To us, anarchy wasn't a political movement, it was getting wasted, getting rowdy, and causing a commotion. Being wild, like that Circle Jerk song, running wild, running wild in the streets. We're running wild in the streets. There were 3 of us at the core of the ruckus crew. There was Slug, a big old boy, easily weighing in at 250, with a greasy green mohawk that never seemed to sit right on his head and always flopped back and forth. He got his name because he never seemed to move too fast. Even in the mosh pit he was slow, but big enough that everyone just bounced off him. Wolf's Blood, a pale, skinny kid with a bad complexion, a Misfits fanatic. He wore his hair in a double lock, a long black spike that hung down over his face and turned up at his chin, and wore nothing but black clothing adorned with the images of skulls. And then there was me, garbage, just a normal spiky-haired punk in tattered blue jeans, a red flannel shirt tied around my waist, and scuffed combat boots on my feet, looking for a few laughs and a good time. It was our squat. We had found it, that boarded up old Victorian, and it was me who had spray painted the circle in. Huh?
9 o'clock.
Alright. On the door, announcing to our punk community that. Alright, I will. That it was an open and running squat. Jesus. He doesn't understand about live stream. He doesn't even understand about phone calls. We were best friends, the 3 musketeers. I would yell ruckus, my fist clenched in the air. Slug would holler rage, holding up a beer, and Wolf's Blood would scream roar, both arms held aloft above his head. That was our thing, and we did it hundreds of times a day. Everyone had come over to our squat after that Black Flag show, a legendary show, with Henry Rollins getting his shorts torn off and continuing on undaunted and naked, howling into the mic. We are tired of your abuse. Try to stop us, it's no use. The entire front room of that condemned Victorian was filled with punks, but somehow, from across the room, I saw her, sitting there, with a book on her lap, and another beside her. Now, I was known as being the bookworm of the crew. I just loved curling up with a good bit of prose. It was a high to me, a way to escape. Kafka or Dostoevsky, something dark and foreign. So seeing her there with those books definitely spurred on my interest. She was in the corner, reading a Bret Easton Ellis novel, Lesson Zero, and I saw that the other book beside her was a sketch pad. She was going from the book to the drawing pad, sketching a naked girl tied to a dirty mattress. Shit. She was insanely beautiful. Her hair was a natural jet black that offset her pale porcelain skin. Her almond-shaped eyes were caked in black eyeliner, and her rosebud lips painted the same dark hue. She was wearing a bulky leather jacket, metal spikes on the collar and shoulders, with her shiny neck, frail wrists, and torn fishnet stockings, clad legs poking out with 14 eye steel-toed ox blood Dr. Martens on her feet. "Hey, what's your name?" I asked. She smiled up at me with those thick black lips, a twinkle to her dark eyes. "Raven." I once memorized that poem by Edgar Allan Poe for an English class back in high school. So I said, cool as can be, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Her grin grew bigger, and she replied, take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Nice, I said. You like that poem, huh? Is that why they call you Raven? No, they call me Raven because I like to pick at dead things. Huh, well, I'm garbage. She laughed. Well, that's pretty obvious. Oh yeah? What's your story? She cocked her head flirtatiously, and never losing that grin, said, when my mommy died, my daddy started fucking me. I guess he needed someone to put his dick in, so I ran away. What's yours? I was shocked at what she said, stunned, speechless. I was used to some pretty fucked up shit. I mean, look how we lived, eating out of garbage cans and sleeping in condemned houses. But something about her glittery eyes and cocksure grin just shook me when those words left her mouth. Then Slug came stumbling over with a beer in his mitt, wrapping a beefy arm around my shoulders and giving me a squeeze. Dude, Vomit pierced his dick with a safety pin. He's over there showing it to everyone. You gotta see this shit, come on. And he yanked me away from the strange girl. As he pulled me along, I glanced back over my shoulder and saw that she was still smiling and staring at us. When she saw me, she gave a little childlike wave with her hand. Bye-bye. I saw her around after that. She gained a reputation as being a pretty good tattoo artist, working with only a thread-wrapped sewing needle and some India ink. She gave everybody anarchy signs, the circle in symbol of a squat, the 8-pointed symbol of chaos, the black flag bars. Once I strolled up to her while she was tattooing "fuck off" across a rowdy girl named Discharge's knuckles, the blood and ink flowing over her fingers and staining Raven's hands black. I asked her if I could look in her book of drawings. Well, it's kind of personal. She gave me a glance and a grin. But sure, go ahead. The pictures were dark and bizarre. A whole expose on the Charlie Manson family. All the girls before and after they had shaved their heads and carved X's into their brows. Sharon Tate, 8 months pregnant and in a pool of blood with a noose around her neck. Jim Jones smiling and looking like a rock star. Weird stuff. Pol Pot, Hitler, Eldus. I asked her, why do you draw all this fucked up shit? All these bad, evil people? She looked at me curiously. Really, she asked? A guy named Garbage is going to ask me why I'm obsessed with darkness? Because it's there. That's why. Because there's no denying it. Because looking away is being a coward and lying to yourself. It's a fucked up world, and to not acknowledge it would be to give it more power. I thought you understood that. I nodded my head, marveling over her. I did. I understood. I just wanted to hear you say it. And that was the truth, because I had understood that. I just needed to hear her say it before I ever knew I did. The next time I ran into her, I just randomly saw her by the wharf, staring down at the little songbird, a sparrow, that she held cupped in her hands. Seagulls screeched as they circled overhead, and the sun was sinking in the bay. With that amber light falling on her pale skin, she looked even more beautiful than I remembered her. What you got there? I asked, striding up beside her. A little sparrow. It's hurt its wing. She held out her hands so that I could inspect the tiny bird. It looked up at me with its black eyes, and I felt something turn in my gut. We could nurse this creature back to health, I thought. It would be our thing. Bring it back to the squat and help it heal. It would be fun. The guys would love it. They were always trying to make pets out of the mice and rats and chipmunks that wandered in to sample the trash. Once wolf's blood even came back with a baby possum that ended up biting him and taking a big old hunk out of his hand before he threw it back into the alley. As I went to speak, she looked up at me with these heartbreakingly sad eyes, and again I was struck silent by her, dazed and lost in the melancholy of her gaze, and she opened her hands, letting the little bird topple to the ground, where it struggled, beating its one good wing for a moment, before she lifted her foot and brought her boot down squarely upon it. It made a crunching sound, and she twisted her heel, grinding it into the sidewalk. She laughed and looked up at me with her soul-crushingly beautiful face, eyes now a glitter. "Do you want to get drunk and go trolling?" she asked. "Yes," I gasped, and I knew right then that I would do anything to be with this girl. Anything. "Got any money for booze?" "Nope. Do you?" "Nope. Let's make some." So we started panhandling. It was a blast. I had my standard, "Please give to the Get a Punk Drunk Foundation." She had jokes. "Spare some change for a joke? Spare some change for a joke? Hear about the weather in Mexico? Chilly today, hot tamale?" But we weren't really getting anywhere. About half an hour, we had $5 between the two of us. Then she spied this old lady crossing the road. "Stay here," she said, and her entire demeanor changed. She became someone else. Her eyes lost that mischievous sparkle. Her lips went from a devilish grin to a pout. That jaunty tilt of her head became a sullen and downcast look of sadness. And she shuffled up to that white-haired woman and began to mumble something I couldn't hear. The woman went into her purse and spilled her a fold of bills. I could see Raven mouthing the words, "Thank you." Then she backed herself. Then she was back to her old self, skipping back to me, little girl style, laughing uproariously. "That old bitch just gave me $100. What did you say to her?" "It doesn't matter. Come on, let's get some wine." We got a gallon bottle of Cargo Rossi Burgundy and headed off trolling, cruising around under bridges and getting drunk. Tucked up under the Samoa Bridge on a concrete slab, surrounded by graffiti and broken glass, we began to kiss. The taste of the cheap wine was as sweet as candy on her lips. She seemed eager to fuck, unbuttoning my pants, pulling off her panties, and drawing me into her. But as I began to move my body over her, I noticed she was weeping, crying quietly, her eyes clenched shut. "What? What is it? Do you want me to stop?" "No," she said. "It feels good. I like it. Please don't stop. Don't stop." So I rocked against her. I could feel her begin to writhe and move beneath me, meeting my strokes with her own, our rhythm gaining momentum until she moaned and shuddered, and I knew she had come. Then I let myself go, and we lay there clutching each other in the darkness, the traffic overhead making the bridge tremble slightly and hum. We drank more wine, cuddled up. She told me about her father and the way he would come into her room at night, and after her mother had died, and have his way with her. She cried. I told her it was all right. She was gone from him now. She would never have to go back. We fell asleep, clutching each other, and woke up in the dim pre-dawn light, freezing and shivering. We fled back to the squat, holding hands and giggling, still drunk. Oh my God. I'm going to take a break from that for a second. Oh, that's a lot longer story than I thought it was. Sorry about that. Give me just 1 second and I'll be right back. Alright, my bad. I'm back. I need to go find my cigarettes. Alright, y'all want to hear the rest of that story? Or you want to switch to a different one? That was kind of getting on my nerves. Oh crap. No, I don't. I don't think my charger is even... No, hell no, my charger's in the house. I guess we'll just have to quit before that gets... It takes it a while to get down, maybe. I don't have my charger. I'm outside in a tent right now. Oh. In the front yard, whatever. What's up, bro? Yeah, 28 now, dropping steadily. I can't smoke with my mask on, so y'all just gonna have to look at my ugly face with my freaking band-aid in my eye. Good thing it's dark in here. And dark's in here. Yeah, I know. Sucks to be me. Yeah, you hear my little cricket friends? No problem. Actually just grilled pork chops about an hour ago now, probably. Mine are done cold. I ain't too busy to eat. Let me turn the light on in the tent here. It's really smoky in here. Woohoo, spotlight. Smoky spotlight. It looks like a bar. Good gosh. Here, fuck it. I'm gonna be without my mask. I'm gonna put my damn hat back on. If I can find it. There. Yeah, it's all good and relaxing until the freaking howling starts. The bastard's still out here. I've been staying in this tent for about 2 weeks now. And at least 4 nights, something's touched my tent. Like, higher than any animal that should be out here can touch it and run it. It's like it runs a hand down the tent on the outside. And then I freak out for a while. We just talk for a little bit. It's been hot today. Can y'all see the smoke? It's a little smoky in here. And that's with my fan going. I don't know if he's chosen to go by DP or not. He might like it, I don't know. No, I do know. He probably doesn't care what you call him though. Yeah, it was. It's making me sweat. Made my face turn red if it was possible. Crying and fucking all at the same time. That's some hot shit. maybe why I'm kind of stupid now. Yeah, I didn't figure you'd. I mean, DP's got too many other connotations to it. I like docs myself, but it's just because I listen to Boondocks mainly. Dr. Pepper time. I was just messing with you, though, yeah. He probably doesn't really care. He probably answered to DP. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for the man. Check out this shit. Oh no. What happened? Oh no. Oh no. No. Oh no. I'm still alive. You like Boondocks too? Hell yeah. Boondocks, fucking Big Hoodoo, fucking all of them. I'm a low-key juggalo, I guess. Yeah, my whole my my shit, my kicked them. That's what I made a little while ago. Barbecue pork chop. Has it not come back? Crap. It's still saying it's live. Oh crap. What in the hell? Now, maybe that's a little better. Now I lost my story. I'll share my pork chops with you if y'all want some. Damn it. What the hell? Oh god. Kind of left mine on there a little too long. They got a little dry. They're good though. Good and sticky. If I can find the damn story I was just reading. Let's see. Alright. One more bite and I'll finish it. sexy story. Live on YouTube, freaking eating pork chops. That's probably good for my channel. Switch themes, go to food porn. I can't help it. It's crunchy. Told you I left them on there a little too long. Ain't like I'm chewing with my mouth open tonight. Alright, 2 more bites. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't want to quit now. I lost my fucking ashtray, huh? And my cigarette. Dang it. Where my cigarettes go? Oh shit. Aha. Found her. I'll run in and grab a charger in a second if I need to. Now I got pork chop stuck in my teeth. No doubt. Alright, here we go. We were inseparable from that moment on. She stopped crying during sex and wanted to fuck everywhere. In alleys, in gutters, in the dark corner of the club, while True Sounds of Liberty played Darker My Love. We were giddy and got high just staring into each other's eyes. The first tattoo she gave me was a black heart. Oh. Bug tried to fly in my nose. Take off your shirt, she said, her dark eyes twinkling as she got out her little tattoo kit. I want to give you something. I slipped my shirt over my head and lay back as she straddled me and began to press black ink into my skin with her sewing needle, etching a large ebony heart into the center of my chest. The next tattoo she gave me was garbage across my forehead. We were laying on an old mattress in an upstairs room of the squat where we had made ourselves a little room of our own, drunk as usual. I said, "I want a new tattoo. Give me a new tattoo." "What do you want?" she purred, licking her lips and pressing herself against me. "Whatever," I muttered, and she began to nibble on my ear. "How about garbage across your forehead?" "Whoa, that's hardcore." "I think it'd be hot, sexy." I had known for a long time that I would do whatever this girl asked. She held me in the palm of her hand, just as she had once held that little sparrow. "Sure, babe, if you think it's hot." I lay there laughing as she poked at my flesh with a thread-wrapped needle dipped in ink. It took a long while, and by the time it was over, it hurt like hell, and I was bleeding profusely. I'll never forget looking into that dingy, chipped mirror and seeing my reflection staring back. The word garbage printed permanently across my brow in a sloppy and childlike scrawl, blood and ink dripping down my face. Then there was that insane Butthole Surfers show. That was the night everything changed. The Grateful Dead were in town, so there were these dreadlocked hippies everywhere, and tons of them showed up at the show. They were just giving away tabs of acid, so Raven and I ate a bunch of the little paper squares, the image of Snoopy embossed on them. It was the strangest night of my life. The club was packed and very dark. There were screens set up with unsettling and weird images flickering on them. Sex change operations, car accident victims, flocks of birds and schools of fish. A large section of the audience were bowing down in worship to the stage, where two drummers were banging out a primitive tribal beat. The guitarist was fiddling around making squawking sounds and feedback. Mist poured out of a smoke machine, and the entire stage was engulfed in fog, at the center of which was an obese, naked woman, painted green, writhing and squirming to the beat. Then Gibby came out, tall and shirtless, mumbling incoherently into a megaphone. As I listened and started to make out the words, I realized he was riffing on that Doors song, The End. And I walked on down the hall, and I came to a room where my mother was, and I noticed she had shaved her pussy just for the occasion. And I walked on down the hall, and I paid a visit to my father, who looked down at me with his green eyes and said, "Son, Satan, Satan, Satan." Suddenly the room erupted into violence and chaos as the riff to Black Sabbath's Sweet Leaf came blaring out of the speakers. The lights were flashing, bodies were hurling through the air, and the screens were filled with images of mushroom clouds exploding over and over. Then I noticed Gibby had a shotgun and was firing blanks into the crowd. It was utter insanity. The acid had fully kicked in, and everything was shimmering and melting. I didn't know if I was in heaven or hell, but it was awesome, amazing. Raven and I just stood there in the back of the club, holding hands, entranced by the spectacle. The rest of the show was just pure anarchy. Gibby was setting things on fire and throwing them into the swirling mosh pit. People were dangling from the ceiling beams and hurling themselves off the speakers. That fat, naked lady gyrating in the midst the entire time, like the calm in the eye of the storm. Afterwards, we all went back to the squat to party. Raven was high as hell and acting really weird. She kept biting my neck, sticking her hand down my pants and grabbing at my dick. "Come on," she kept whispering. "Don't you want to fuck me? Come on." I did, of course I did, but I also wanted to be with my friends. We were all amped from the show. Nearly all of us had eaten acid and were still pretty high, that wiry, high energy high after an LSD peak. "Come on, just a quick one. Come on, baby." "All right," I finally relented, letting her drag me away by the hand. "Yo, Garbage, where you going, man?" Slug called out. "I'll be right back," I shouted back over my shoulder. Yeah, sure you will, Wolfsblood chimed in. When we got to our dingy little room, she immediately threw me down on the mattress and stripped off her clothes. She was on me and unbuckling my pants before I had time to even pull off my tattered t-shirt. Then things got weird, really weird. She was straddling me and moaning. She said, "Come on, fuck me, Daddy. Fuck your little girl. Fuck me good." "Jesus, Raven," I muttered. "What are you saying?" And she slapped me hard right across the face and flipped me over so that now I was on top of her. Still moaning, she muttered, fuck me so good, Daddy. Hurt me, bite me, make me bleed." Oh my God. "Raven, what's going on?" I asked. And she grabbed me by the hair and pulled my head back and dug her nails into my side. "Do it, bitch," she growled. "Bite me and make me bleed." And so I did. We went at it all night. Till at dawn, we just passed out, exhausted, sore, bruised, and bleeding. When I awoke, sometime after noon, spun from the acid and groggy, she was gone. Her pack was gone too, as well as her sketchbook. I went downstairs, where the guys were drinking beer and listening to that Dead Kennedys tape. California Uber Alles, California Uber Alles. "Hey, you guys seen Raven?" "Saw her leave," Slug said, slurping the froth off a freshly opened can of Pabst. "She didn't say a thing." "Huh, that's weird." "Whatever. Come on, bro, have a brewski. She'll fucking be back." "Rage." "Roar," Wolfsblood shouted, throwing me a beer. "Ruckus," I hollered back, cracking open the beer and swallowing down half of it. She never did come back. I grew depressed, lethargic. I didn't want to go out. I just wanted to lay in the room Raven and I had once shared and read. I went through huge volumes. Tolstoy's War and Peace, Joyce's Ulysses, waiting and hoping she would come back. As the day turned to weeks, I started to drink heavier and heavier, stealing handles of Lord Calvert and drinking it down straight from the bottle, and getting so wasted every day that I couldn't even read anymore. The words just became a jumbled blur. "Ruckus," I'd yell to my friends, falling down, ready to puke and struggling for balance. "Rage," "Roar," they shouted back, but it wasn't the same. It felt lackluster. I wasn't the same, and I knew they could tell. "You got to forget about that chick, bro," Slug told me one night. She was a fucking nutcase anyway." "I know, man, I know," I muttered, but I knew he could never know how much I loved her, never understand how much I missed her, how I ached and sometimes snuck away to drunkenly weep and puke, my heart a shattered mess. Then, one day I saw her. I was out by Cutting, looking for new territory to panhandle in, desperate for a bottle, and I saw her leaving the Catholic school there. At first, I thought it was an illusion, that it was someone else, that I was seeing things, for she was all done up in a Catholic school uniform with the plaid skirt, white button-up shirt, and blue blazer. But as I got closer, I saw it was definitely her, that gorgeous face, those twinkling eyes. She was walking with another girl, backpacks slung casually over their shoulders. "Raven?" I asked, stunned, as I approached her. "Oh God, garbage." "You know this guy, Karen?" her friend asked. Karen? I'd never even known her real name. "Yeah, just give me a minute, Jenny. I'll be right there," she said to her friend, who gave me a snide up and down look as she sauntered away. Then Raven turned to me. "Garbage, how are you?" "Awful. I'm fucking awful. I miss you. What happened? Where did you go?" "I just had to get away from that life. I snapped that night. When I woke up, I realized that I just couldn't take it anymore. Begging, eating out of garbage cans, that disgusting house. I needed to get my life together. I'm going to graduate this year, and then I'm going to art school in Portland. I've already been accepted. What about me? I love you. Yeah, and I love you too, Garbage. I do, and always will. Our time together will always be special to me. I just had to give that life up. I'm back living with my dad, and things are going good now. Things are going good now? You told me he raped you. Keep it down, don't make a scene. Maybe it wasn't all him. Maybe I was to blame. Ah, crap. As well, we worked it all out. Worked it all out? I can't believe what you're saying to me. You said he raped you when you were 16 years old? How can you be to blame? This is fucked. Look, Garbage, you've got to calm down. You just don't understand. Understand? No, I don't fucking understand. You told me you loved me, that we would be together forever. I do love you, but I never said we would be together forever. Right, excuse me. Right now, I just can't be with someone who has garbage tattooed across their forehead. I can't. But you did this to me. Nevertheless, what would my father say? He's paying for me to go to art school, and he's laying down some very strict rules. Your father? Your fucking father? The pervert? The rapist? Alright, that's it. I've got to go. Look, it was a good time, but we both just have to move on. So please, just leave me alone. Come on, Jenny, she shouted to her friend. Let's get going. And they left. Left me standing there, lost and alone. I could hear her friend say to her as they strolled away. God. I could hear her friend say to her as they strolled away, I can't believe you know that guy. He smelled, and the way he was dressed, gross. And was that garbage written on his head? After that, I began to stalk her. I found out where she lived and spent days by the cans in the alley across from her house, drinking and watching. Winter was coming, and the sky was growing dark with black clouds. Clouds that looked like mold, like rot. I saw her father come and go. A smug-looking guy with salt and pepper hair, always dressed in a blue suit. He would get into his BMW every morning and be back at 6 every evening. It was his fault, that sick fuck. This was all his fault. I decided I was going to kill him. There in that piss-stinking alley, beneath that rotting sky, I found a rusty crowbar. Not the little things used to pry off hubcaps, but a big industrial length of heavy metal used to tear down walls and pry apart boards. The door to their house was unlocked, and I just strolled right in, half blacked out drunk. He was asleep on the sofa in front of the TV. He didn't even see it coming. I walked right up behind him, lifted that heavy piece of metal over my head, and brought it down into the top of his head. He made a kind of surprise sound like, huh, as his skull shattered. Again, I lifted it and swung, blood and bits of brain spraying over me till I was soaked in gore. Hello, airplane. Bye-bye. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus. Again and again, until there was nothing of his head left but a bloody stump with his tongue lolling out to the side. At first, I thought the screaming was in my head, this loud, piercing cry. But when I turned, I saw it was her, Raven. She was standing there at the bottom of the stairs, screaming. When she saw me turn toward her, she ran up the staircase. I followed behind, reaching up to grasp an ankle. She fell with a thud. I climbed over her. She was still screaming hysterically. I wanted to tell her how I had saved her, how she was free now, how I loved her and wanted to be with her forever. But she just wouldn't stop screaming and howling and trying to push me away from her. Somehow, I found my hands stained black with her father's blood wrapped around her neck, squeezing and squeezing and squeezing until her face went blue and her eyes went still. I lay there on top of her on the staircase for a good while, her father's blood beginning to coagulate and stink. Then I fled, ran and ran through those filthy streets, beneath that rotting sky, covered in the stench of death. I had become a monster. I had killed the thing I loved the most, the one thing of beauty and truth I had found in this sick, sad world. I ran to the Samoa Bridge. I ran to the Samoa Bridge and crawled up onto that graffiti-covered slab of concrete where we had first made love and wept, wept and wept and wept. Then, after the sun had set, sinking into the bay, and blackness obscured that rotting sky, I climbed to the truss of the bridge. Up and up I went into the darkness of night. And when I had reached the top, the pinnacle, and could go no further, I threw myself off into the darkness below. In the morning, I awoke beneath the waves and water, dead, ethereal. I crawled out and clawed my way to the shore, where I lurched into the shadows to find that alley again, to wait there again, to go and kill again, kill her father, then kill the thing I loved most, over and over and over for eternity. This is my fate, to wrap my blood-soaked fingers around her throat and watch her face go blue before throwing myself into darkness again and again and again. My name is garbage. Forever will my name be carved into my head. I haunt a world of filth, piss, and blood beneath the rotting sky. That's a pretty good story. A lot of words. Creative as hell. Credited to Humboldt Lycanthrope. Y'all can read that. From the Creepypasta Wiki. Shit. My flashlight is dead, so I lost my spotlight. Alright, this was not nearly that long. Inconsistencies. Hell. Scratch that. Shit. I'm gonna do for y'all the ones I just recorded, because I actually know them. Now, why won't my screen stay lit up like that? Hell, I don't need spotlight. Maybe I won't. Shit. What's up, Thursday Show? Wow, we got 6 people in here. I think that's the biggest crowd I've ever had. Yeah, I'm gonna have to run get my charger before I start this one. So, yeah, I'll be back. Hang tight. Entertain yourselves. Make yourselves at home. Have a seat. Smoke my cigarettes. Doesn't matter. I'll see if I can find another flashlight. Hell, I'll just take y'all with me. We'll go to the porch. Gather up all my shit. Lost the lighter somewhere. Oh well. I don't know. I think I'll have to come back and get y'all. I ain't got enough hands for that. I'll be back. Oh shit. Spilled my Kool-Aid. Let's see what a day in the life of a Greatwhite is actually all about. Fucking spilling shit and making this. Shit. Final countdown. Okay, damn. That was bad. Jesus Christ. I got my jug of Kool-Aid. What you want to hear next, Sharp? I'm taking requests. And I'm still eating pork chops. I gotta get my steak going before it dies. Just in the nick of time. 9%. Ta-da! Pork chop. Taste me. I got pork chops on my face. Alright. Where were we? Oh God. I like that one. We'll do it just for you. Since I got my charger, if not, I wouldn't have had nearly enough time. Shit. No, wrong button. I got pork chops stuck on my teeth. Damn it. Get out the way. Can't type, can't read. Turn into I retarded tonight. My alter ego. There we go. feeding. Looking like a harbinger. Ah, I'm blind. I'm an idiot, aren't I? The world we live in is full of things we don't understand. Being the curious humans that we are, we naturally try and seek these things out. Doing so has led us to remarkable discoveries and inventions that we could never have imagined 100 years ago. We have defeated diseases, built to the sky itself, and even created machines that could take us beyond the clouds and into the stars. If our ancestors could see us and what we've created, I'm sure many of them would see us as gods. Our innate curiosity and lust for knowledge has not always led us to greatness, however. True evil and darkness have also been uncovered in humanity's conquest of knowledge. And in the end, I fear this evil will be our doom. I do not say this from the standpoint of a great philosopher who has sat and simply pondered things either. No, I say this because I've seen it, experienced it. I was a part of it. The event I'm about to relay to you is true in its entirety. This I swear. I feel certain that this will fall on deaf ears, and many of you will believe this to be just another spooky story meant to give you cheap thrills. Hang on. That's better. But I promise you that this is neither my intent nor my purpose. The purpose of this story is to simply warn you of what lurks beyond the veil of what we can see and understand, to show you what awaits us in the darkness, even if I myself don't understand it. What I'm about to tell you has happened, and I feel certain it will happen again. In 1971, a Nazi for an extremely secretive project known simply as the Harbinger experiment. I would like to keep the identity of the scientist a secret for personal reasons. So throughout this recounting, I will refer to him as Zimmerman's background is unbased and unclear at best beyond 1971. All that is known is that he had grown up somewhere in Maryland. See you, Dark. Damn it, I'll lose my place. Is it buffering for y'all? I mean, is the stream working right? Or is it just constantly buffering? Because it keeps telling me it's possibly buffering. Alright. Let me see if I can shut some other apps down right quick without killing this one. Shut down, shut down, shut down. Maybe that'll help. Hopefully. Damn it. Well, hell, let me go to my network bullshit and try to fix it. Yeah, just don't pay any attention to everything I own on the screen. Shit. Stop it. What the hell? Ah. Why are you not working? Freaking piece of crap. There we go. Always freaking something. I pushed the button. Da 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 da. It's the moon. Oh, no wonder it's buffering. That's horrible freaking speeds. I'm surprised it's doing anything. Huh. No, we don't want to kill that one. Okay. So we can't do that. What the hell was that? I tightened my freaking legs. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. Jesus Christ. No wonder. Water's taking up all my memory. Oh, that. This ain't. And that needs to stop. And that needs to stop. God, what the hell? You freaking little bastard. Oh yeah, you're gonna have to die. Dead. I'm sure everybody's probably bailed by now. Sorry for the crappy phone. Stop. I don't care. Shit. You little bastard. Gotcha. Alright, I think we're good now, maybe. Well, probably not good, but maybe better. Woohoo! That's like almost good. A hell of a lot better than it was, I guess. Alright, let's try this again. Sorry, didn't mean to slap the phone. Oh, let's see if anybody's still here. Woohoo! Awesome. Yeah, I know. It'll be alright. If we don't get through it all tonight, we'll stop in a good spot and finish the rest of it tomorrow or something. Alright, here we go again. Find my place. All that is known about him before that time is that he had grown up somewhere in Maryland with a strange fascination of the occult and supernatural. This later made him an outcast among his fellow scientists due to how scoffed upon the metaphysical was, and still is at the time. Zimmerman's opinion concerning the otherworldly were not the sole cause for him being an outcast, though. It was his methods that made him widely unaccepted among his peers. Zimmerman was well known during his time for being ruthless and cold beyond measure. He never cared about the means. All that mattered to him was results. And if he predicted the results to be valuable enough, anything would be worth obtaining them. It was this insatiable and brutal lust for the truth that made him feared among those that knew of him. And the few that knew of him and did not fear him believed in him and followed him and his work closely. The word harbinger itself has such a mysterious and intimidating taste to it. Maybe it's the way it rolls from our tongues, or maybe it's simply due to its association with the project. But the word always seems to carry a certain amount of doom with it, which would make sense. The word itself means to warn or forebode. I can't imagine Zimmerman's reason for giving the experiment this title, but in retrospect, it fits perfectly. Zimmerman came to a select few, me being one of them. He told us he was working on something big, and that he needed people who could keep confidentiality and not spread idle gossip of his work. While he did not fully trust some of us, he did know that we were professionals, and that for some reason or another, we were all in dire need of employment. I had worked at the local clinic as a doctor, but I was caught stealing medication and was promptly fired. This left a very dark mark on my resume, so work was hard to find. I was also a native to Alaska and lived near where the experiment would take place, so I guess you could say I was a convenient choice. As you can imagine, I jumped at the opportunity. It was hard not to when I saw the payout. 15 of us were hired in total. Some were colleagues of his that has been working with him for a while. Some were maintenance workers, and a few were hired as private security. I was the only medical professional to be hired. It is still a wonder to me how he ever attained the funds necessary for the experiment. I would not be wholly surprised if his financing was not entirely legal. He doesn't. I think it means if it was not, if his financing was entirely legal. Okay. But legal or not, I needed the money, and he was paying. Looking back, it's a decision I've come to regret. After Zimmerman obtained his money, he used it to buy a relatively large plot of land deep in the frozen wilderness of Alaska. And upon that piece of land, Zimmerman built a concrete structure not dissimilar to a bunker. In fact, the sole difference being that its goal was to keep any potential damage contained within the structure rather than keeping it out, as he put it. Most of the structure dug underneath the earth, which had the effect of making the underground complex seem so much smaller than it really was from the outside, as would be expected. There was only one way of entering and leaving the underground structure, and it was by a ladder that led from a small, unassuming concrete building on the surface, which I will refer to from now on as the entrance building for convenience, to the network below. After everyone had gone to bed at night, the hatch that contained the ladder would be sealed off with a very large and thick metal lid. Zimmerman was very strict about this. Located not too far away from the entrance building was a series of was a series of wooden cabins that would serve as the sleeping quarters for the staff Zimmerman had hired. Compared to the entrance building standing on the surface, the underground system was massive. At the center of the complex was the control room. This is where all the facility's electronics and such were linked to. This included security cameras, lights and door controls, consoles, monitors, and computers lined the walls of this large central chamber. This is also where the ladder in the entrance building connected to in the underground complex. Connected to the control room were 3 doors. One led to a smaller room that served as an infirmary. One led to a smaller room that served as the infirmary. Another door led to a break room, and the last door led into the hallways. The hallways are where the complex began to feel extremely eerie. They were for some reason laid out in an extremely confusing scheme that led in circles and to complete dead ends. These hallways made up a vast majority of the complex, and it would be very easy to get lost in the maze if you were unfamiliar with the complex. But if you knew where you were going, you would find yourself standing before one of 3 8-by-8-foot rooms before long. Each room had a camera hooked up to one of the corners of the room, and all 3 of those cameras were connected to a corresponding monitor in the control room. Cameras were also scattered throughout the hallways, so that whoever was watching their corresponding monitor could see anywhere they wanted to, when they wanted to. Thick metal doors stood at the entrance to each of the 3 8-by-8-foot rooms, and in order to open them, you would have to enter a 4-digit code into a panel located near the door. I remember when I first arrived at the complex, how badly the hallways frightened me. I've always been claustrophobic, you see, and those hallways were so very narrow. The noise, or more accurately, the lack of noise, was also a tremendous source of fear for me in those bleak, narrow hallways. It was always so unnaturally silent, as if the entire world had stopped moving. It really made you feel like you were trapped down there. Thankfully though, I only rarely ventured into those hallways, for I was the only medical professional in the facility, and I had virtually no reason to go into them. In the beginning, I found it so peculiar that Zimmerman would ask for a medical professional like me on a project like this, but by the time it was all over, I understood why the official purpose of the Harbinger experiment was to test and observe the effects of extended isolation on the human mind. This is what was listed on reports being sent out, at least. But unbeknownst to all those who were not participating in the project, excluding the subjects, the true purpose was much darker. Like I said before, Zimmerman had always had an obsession with the occult and supernatural. He sought to prove himself to those who did not believe in him. He wanted physical proof that the supernatural was a real phenomenon, and he wanted to be the first one to attain said proof. The true purpose of the Harbinger experiment was to find proof of the metaphysical, a world we cannot see. The thought of doing this was naturally a tad bit daunting and even scary, but it was Zimmerman's method of doing so that was truly terrifying. Zimmerman believed that he would be able to open a portal between worlds momentarily, allowing 3 random entities to cross over to our world, and each one of these beings would be trapped within one of the 3 rooms. Zimmerman had the theory that any entity would try and latch on to the nearest living thing that had the capacity for it. He wanted to use this technique to trap a spirit in a physical form by allowing it to enter a living being that had been injected with a compound mixture of Zimmerman's creation. My bad. Hell, thought I seen flames in my tent there. It scared me for a minute. I don't know what the hell it was. In theory, this compound would keep the entity from simply leaving whatever it was attached to. The only way it would be able to leave a host who had been injected with the compound was through death. According to Zimmerman, the host would have to be something living with a will strong enough to survive the possession. And there is only one known species that possessed the amount of will required for this: humans. Zimmerman had also done something to ensure that the entities would only enter the 3 rooms, and that there would only be one entity in each room, though I cannot say I know what exactly he did. In fact, I know next to nothing when it comes to how Zimmerman managed to do what he did. He liked to keep his methodology a secret to his most trusted colleagues, most likely due to his paranoia that someone would steal his ideas and take credit for the success of said ideas. If I had known this was the true purpose before I signed up, I may have reconsidered. But Zimmerman decided not to tell us until we were all gathered at his fortress. Even if any of us wanted to leave, I doubt we would have been allowed to do so. The security team Zimmerman had hired was loyal to him, and the payout is not likely that Zimmerman had given them the order to now allow anyone to leave. There were 3 different subjects included in the experiment. All were native to Alaska, and each one was lured into the project under the belief that they would be participating in a harmless study of the effect of isolation on the human mind, as I mentioned before, which is why none of the subjects objected when they realized that they would be confined to one of the 3 rooms that I mentioned earlier. The first subject was a young man. He was apparently out of work and desperately needed the money that had been offered for participating in the study. The second was a woman. By looking at her, I could tell that she was an addict of some sort. The third and final subject was an older man, a drifter if I had to guess. One thing they all held in common was that none of them had any family or friends left. In short, no one would miss them, which is why they were chosen for the project. I am sorry. I wish I could supply more information about the subjects, but all of this has been drawn from memory, and I was given little information on the 3 to begin with. The experiment did not officially begin until 1987, 16 years after its original announcement. I was eager to begin, so I picked up and headed out to the complex as soon as I could. I arrived at the complex a week before the subjects had even signed up, and a whole month before the project even began. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh. Alright. That may be about as far as we go for tonight. Are we still live even? Anybody here? Alright guys, if y'all can hear me, thanks for coming to the stream. Thanks for helping us get to 95. Alright, I see. I'm gonna close it out because I keep getting choked. Plus it's almost 11 o'clock and I gotta be at work at 5 in the morning. So, now that I found the app that actually works on this phone where I can stream, I'll finish it tomorrow. I'll try to remember where I was. Maybe I'll get on a little earlier tomorrow. Later, bud. Bye, April. Bye, 13 short. Bye, other unnamed person. Not sure. Everybody have a good night. Be safe. Have fun. Like, comment, share. And yeah, y'all have already joined this Freaky Fear family, so there's no point in saying that. I fear the Greatwhite. I love you all. I'm out. Bye.